Hi, I'm Bruce the Sheep. I'm from part of New Zealand, and I'm here to talk to you about what it was like before and after imperialism. Here's a simple region of our country. As you can see, we're pretty small, and being surrounded by the Pacific Ocean, and just west of us is Australia. Before the British ever colonized us in the 1600s, a Dutch explorer named Abel Tasman came along searching for a great southland, believing to be rich soil and minerals. By 1642, he came along New Zealand, spotting a large high-lying land off the west coast of the South Island. Tasman annexed the country for Holland under the name of Statenland, but was later changed to New Zealand by Dutch map makers. He wasn't alone though. Settlers before him have already claimed the land. The Maoris. The Maoris were farm settlers. They were also warriors in their tribe because they were also very protective of their land. Tasman's first contact with them was at the tip-top of the South Island, in what is now called the Golden Bay. 2 waka or canoes full of Maori men sighted Tasman's boat. Tasman sent out his men in a small boat, but a wide various of misunderstandings happened. Tasman saw one of his boats rammed one of the waka. In the resulting skirmish, 4 of Tasman's men were killed. After the incident with the Maoris, he's never set foot back into New Zealand again, and set to Batavia, in the Dutch Indies, which is now Indonesia. It's really funny. I thought sailors were like all buff and could take on anyone. It doesn't seem so tough to me, or the Maoris. Anywho, around 1769, Captain James Cook comes to New Zealand by successfully mapping and circumnavigating the country. His botanists and other experts on his ship, the Endeavour, gained considerable information about the country's flora and fauna, the native Maori inhabitants, and a mural in the Wakatan depicts the coming together of Maori and Paka, or the Europeans. Before, there was around 2,000 Europeans, mostly whalers, sailors, and missionaries. These settlers had considerable information with the Maori, especially in coastal areas. The Maori and Europeans traded extensively, and some Europeans would live among them. Also, the Europeans were making guns, which took an advantage on the Maori's tribe, and their trading with them, which made it very, very deadly. I would be careful, don't want to lose an eye. There was also the diseases that the Europeans brought, which was dropping the population down dramatically for the Maoris. By the time the Treaty of Waitangi was signed and Britain had control over New Zealand. Oh, what a time that was. The Maoris were not too happy about this, as more and more British people arrived, because the more land they had to give away, the more their population was declining. The ambiguity and lack of adherence of the Treaty of Waitangi saw grievances increase and skirmishes multiply. This would also turn into a full-scale war in the Northland during the mid-1840s and in the rest of the country during the 1860s. British troops would help the New Zealand colonial forces during these conflicts, even some of the Maoris. During the wars, Maoris were victorious on many occasions. Incidents like the defense of Ohuapa in the Northland show that the Maori military engineering was sophisticated and often superior to the Europeans. But as the force and greater number of the colonial forces eventually saw the New Zealand War and ended it all for the Maori tribes. The government soon seized vast tracts of the Maori land, including prime farmland in Waikato and Taranaki. Soon the major loss of land, combined with continued deaths from disease and the deaths from war, saw the Maori population steeply decline from 200,000 to 45,000 by 1900. To this day, the Maori population is now gradually increasing up again. In 1907, New Zealand sought for self-rule and won independence by Britain. With New Zealand's newly independence, it forms their parliament, prime minister, and elected legislator, also becoming the first nation to hand over suffrage right to women. And New Zealand also maintained close ties to Britain to this day.